Like oyakodon, another simmered dish using kayashi sauce is beef tofu called nikudofu. We have the culture of eating sukiyaki from one giant pot shared by people, but it's only on special occasions like birthday party or family get-togethers on holiday. As a quick side dish, our nikudofu might be the right choice for those wanting to eat sukiyaki more often. Well, it had to be mentioned earlier, but it's actually not sukiyaki, but one of the home simmered dishes we have along with the rice. Let's move on to preparing the ingredients. 100 milliliters of kaishi, about 250 grams of beef, 1 square of momen tofu, which is a bit hotter than another type called kinu, half an onion, and 80 grams of spinach, 50 grams of shimeji mushrooms, and ginger, a small chunk of like this size. 1 teaspoon of sake onto the beef and keep it ready. For onion, each slice is roughly about 5 milliliters thick. Cut spinach into 5 centimeter chunks and break shimeji mushrooms into smaller pieces. We don't crumble it, just break it apart to the size you see. We cut the tofu into 8 blocks. 2 teaspoons of canola oil onto the bottom of the pot and throw in the beef before heating so it won't stick to the bottom. We don't mind using hands to break the pieces apart because it's effective and we don't want undercooked masses of beef. And then put the pot on medium heat. About a minute before the beef gets fully brown, pour about 80 milliliters of kaishi in there, simmering it for a few minutes so the soup is going to have rich beef flavor. As a matter of fact, making Nimono generally involves making dashi from dry bonito flakes and sardine called niboshi. But for oyakodon or nikudofu, the chicken and beef are the base of the soup. And that's why it has to be highlighted as the easiest dishes to start with if you're interested in making a holistic chapter for Japanese food in your recipe book. Not just being Japanese, but some of the foods eaten at Japanese households every day. We make sure the beef got fully brown and then remove it from the pot. Using the remaining bits and juice of meat after sautéed is very common as the basic process of making nice soup, such as deglazing. And it's the case with this Nimono too. Add 200 milliliters of water on the medium heat again. The onion slices to jump in and then make onion islands smaller with your chopsticks. And then we throw in the tofu before bringing the pot to a boil. It's good to keep it in mind that momen tofu takes a little longer to be flavorful in the soup than the other type, kinu. So we let the tofu blocks stay in the kaishi sauce without doing much to them other than tapping and turning them over to check their hardness. The tofu has color just like kaishi sauce. And let's taste the soup now. While our kaishi was measured to the amount mentioned at the beginning, you could add more of it to your preference. It's easier to add whatever you like, but not to subtract it. So starting with a small amount is always the best. Turn each of the tofu over so the soup will permeate it deep inside. Shimeji mushrooms in. Then let's see how far the tofu blocks are done by tapping them. When you feel it softer, it's cooked well inside and flavored enough with kaishi. The grated ginger in to get rid of the smelliness of the beef. And use your tongs to put the beef back in gently and spread spinach evenly over the tofu. Press the spinach into the gaps among the beef and tofu, and when it's softened, it's time to remove the pot from heat. What distinguishes Nimono from soup is that most ingredients are not fully in liquids. This is especially critical because too much water keeps ingredients from being seasoned well, and their natural flavors dissolve into the liquid. Whatever mainly used for Nimono has to have its own unique taste and flavor, and our effort is not to spoil it by letting it come out completely into the water. But what about their tops exposing to the air? Well, that's why we use a sheet of an aluminium foil to cause a convection that brings the soup over the tops, which is uniquely called otoshibuta in Japanese. However, for nikudofu, spinach does the job.
完成しましたね。
はい、完成しました。ちょっと
Onto the ball.
でこの七味唐辛子など
Why wouldn't I devour this in a few minutes? The kaishi flavor reached enough into the tofu, and even better with shichimi on top of it. Hope you enjoyed our video, and it would be very pleasing if you could subscribe to our channel.
刺すってダメだよ。美味しい。
うん、味が染みている、すごく。
はい、ほんならお肉食べてみて。
うん、お肉も味が染みてきて美味しい。ぜひ作ってみてください。